Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Bolg here, back again. This time I am checking out Path of Exile, which is a free-to-play action RPG that just went into open beta. Now, this game is very, very complicated. It has a lot to it, so I'll try and explain pretty much everything I can get my hands on in the process of the video and tell you a little bit about it, so hopefully you can give it a try if you seem interested. If you've played Diablo 2 in the past, which was years ago, but it's still a shining example of, the genre. It's an amazing game. It's never really been contended with. Even Diablo 3 was kind of a little bit of a letdown. Well, at least in my eyes. It seemed like it went down too fast and there wasn't enough content. However, this game is I would say a really, really strong contender to contend with Diablo 2. It's kind of a modernized version. It's got a lot more to it. It's a lot more complicated. It's pretty damn difficult. There are some issues currently because it's in open beta due to, disconnects or rubber banding effects, but they're actually working on that currently. And the game's only been out for like a week, open beta so far. So once they get all these issues ironed out, it's going to be a really awesome game to play, and dare I say, maybe even better than Diablo 2 in due time, because they actually plan on releasing more acts. I believe the general talk is about one act per year, or something of the sort. I think the official release of the game is going to get a fourth act, because currently there are only 3. Alright, I'll explain a little bit about the actual game, though. There are 6 classes that you can choose from, and they are Duelist, Witch, Ranger, Templar, Marauder, and the Shadow. They all kind of play a little bit differently. However, you can build your character however you want in this game. The only thing that actually affects is your starting location on the passive skill tree. I'll go into that in just a moment. And your actual quest rewards, your skills that you could pick from the quests. You could find any skill in the game as item drops, or you could just trade for them. So that's one awesome thing to keep in mind. There is no auction house in the system, so everything is find it yourself or find someone to trade with. And there's a lot of things that you can trade, so it's going to be a touch and go basis as far as that's concerned, because different people are going to want different things. There's orbs in the game where you can actually find them and upgrade normal items to magic quality. You can upgrade to rare quality. You can randomize the stats. There is all kinds of orbs in this game, and that is actually what serves as the currency of the game, because there is no gold in the game. Most of your gear early game is going to be bought with Scrolls of Wisdom and Orb of Transmutation, which are the ones that increase them to magic quality. So once you get a little bit deeper in past that, you're going to start wanting to collect the rarer orbs because of obvious use, make a rare item or randomizing stats, trying to get it better, get the best possible piece of gear out of it. Anyway, a skill gem system. All of your skills, as I was saying, you get from quest rewards and drops. You actually level up, and you have to equip the skills through gems socketed in your gear. You can remove them and move them around your gear anytime, but this also serves to kind of make you judge whether or not you really want to put that awesome piece of gear on, if it doesn't necessarily have the right gem slots. But you could also use the orbs to remedy that, because you can randomize the gem slots. You can create links between them. Links allow you to put support gems in. For example, you can do added cold damage to double strike. So every time you double strike, it does added cold damage. As they level up, they usually take more mana as you go. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And there are other things like auras, which take sustained mana cost, which will just permanently take, say, 40% of your mana pool away, and you won't be able to use it, but the aura will be active. You can actually kind of counter some of that, though, because there is a support gem for reduced mana cost as well, so that's one of my personal favorites, because I like running auras. Going into the passive skill tree, if you have played Final Fantasy X at all, you're going to love this game. The skill tree is absolutely gigantic. It has anything you can think of is in this damn tree. It's basically got your standard stats, your intellect, dexterity, and strength. Those are your 3 core stats. And this is what judges what kind of gear you can put on and all that good shenanigans. As well as affecting your health, energy shield, accuracy, all that good stuff. But they also have a lot of customized points in there, like, crit modifiers, energy shield, which is kind of like a Halo overshield. That's what I think of it as. You can also get the further specialized points, which are at the further outer points of the tree. For example, one of them, you can give up all your health but 1, but you're immune to chaos damage. Chaos damage surpasses energy shield. So if you build a character that's purely built around the energy shield, that's a really good thing to have, because they can never get past the shield. One thing to keep in mind. And you also don't have to carry health pots in that sense. So it's pretty cool. There's another one for your curses never expire. If you're familiar with the Necromancer from Diablo 2, same thing. You curse an area and they get weakened. Yay. So if they never expire, that's a lot. That's worth it. That's one of the strange things about this game that I did find, though. Mobs don't actually regenerate health unless they have the little prefix, suffix, whatever you want to call it, for regenerate health. So if you are continuously dying on like a big boss or something of the sort, it's actually not going to regenerate health unless you're in the higher difficulties. Like Diablo 2, there is 3 difficulties in the game. There's normal, cruel, and merciless. The big factor being they all get stronger as you go. And with cruel, I believe you lose 7.5% of your current level's experience upon death, and merciless you lose 15%. So, and it's from experience, it's pretty easy to die in that. Whether it be to rubber band lag and or just not paying attention. It's easy to lose yourself, and then that's another difference. Is Diablo 2, you're used to running in and let's just zerg the mobs and just blast them all down. This one you really have to be a little bit more tactical because it is a lot more difficult, and you're going to do a lot more hitting and running and kiting and trying to like pick off one at a time here and there, depending on what class you play. You could pick a class that's really, really beefy up in there and just slowly AoE them down, but the higher difficulties you go, it really, really doesn't matter. Because a lot of things are really they'll give it to you if you just slip in the slightest. Anyway, as far as, let's see, item system, we have the flasks actually, which you see on the bar down there. This is a really cool system. It's like Diablo where you have 1 through 5 on potions, and you can choose any combination you want. They have ones that increase resistances, they have mana pots, health pots, run speed, all the good stuff. And how they work is, most flasks will give you 2 to 3 uses each, and they refill charges upon killing enemies. So, and they can actually also be enchanted, so you can get some really nasty combination, like 100% increased armor during flask effect, or increased move speed on a health potion. You can combine a lot of stuff that's, you can really make some crazy stuff on this. Anyway, going in, let's see, skills, passive skill tree, already covered some of that. Leagues, I didn't even think about leagues. As far as leagues are concerned, yeah, sorry, a little bit tongue-tied. There is normal, where you would play normally, nothing affects you, whatever. And there is hardcore league currently. Hardcore league, you have a separate stash from normal, and upon dying, your character is downgraded to the standard league. But while you're hardcore, you can play with other hardcore players and use your hardcore stash. It's kind of more of just a bragging rights kind of thing right now, but I think they're also working to add in other leagues as well. Like they have cutthroat leagues where you drop gear and all that good stuff, and yeah, and I believe actually in the near future they're going to add custom leagues where people can create leagues and have people play under specific rulings. So yet another thing that just, adds to the whole customized feel of it. As you go around the world map, there are waypoints, just like Diablo. I can't stop referencing it because it's very similar, yet very, very different at the same time. So, you're going to have to go through and you'll find the waypoints by looking at your map, and you'll see little blue beacons on the node that you're mousing over for the zone. And once you activate those, in order to actually activate them, you have to use them in a port somewhere. You can't just walk up on it and there you go. So that's something to keep in mind. Now when you sell gear in this game, for example, white items will give you Identify Scroll scraps, which I believe it's 5 or 6 scraps is going to give you 1 scroll, and which you can use to identify blue, rare, or legendary items. However, as far as when you're selling things, there are actually recipes. This is a cool feature. There are recipes for when you're selling stuff. Say, for example, if you sold 3 items of the same quality, by quality I mean you can actually enhance your gear up to a 20% extra modifier that will affect the base damage and or armor depending on the item. And, yeah, for example, you can sell 3 of the same quality rare items, and then it'll give you, an Orb of Alchemy, which will allow you to get another rare item. I'm not sure if that's the exact recipe for it, but there's multiple. There's actually a wiki page dedicated to it. I just don't have it open at this current time to check that out. But if you plan on playing this game, you should definitely check it out, because there is a lot of recipes to keep in mind. You might actually want to start, stashing certain pieces of gear so that you could sell them in bulk as, with other items in order to get the rarer orbs, because the drop rates are a little bit low on the orbs that you're going to end up wanting, like the Orb of Alchemy and Chaos Orb, which randomizes all stats on rare items. As for legendary items, they are still the typical orange. I've found 3 so far on normal, and they've got pretty damn good stats, so they're actually something you kind of want to seek out. The only downside to it is you find it hard to take them off. I'm still using 2 out of 3 of mine, and it's not because I want to, it's because I haven't found an upgrade on them. So, yeah. As far as champions, in reference to Diablo, champions, lords, all that good stuff, they are in the game. They don't guarantee good loot all the time. There are things that you can modify your drop rate chance, your drop quantity chance, and all that good stuff as well. But, yeah, they're still tough. They hit pretty hard. You'll find lords with auras. The champions are just stronger versions of normal mobs. The lords will have, I would say, 4 or 5 different buffs that you have to just kind of fight through. And they can do quite a bit of a range of abilities. And beyond that, I don't know exactly what to call them. There are like orange name mobs that are pretty much they're in specific zones only. So I just treat them like a champion. They have typically more health than a champion and hit harder than a champion. So it's whatever you want to kind of call beyond that. They're stronger. But anyway, as you're watching this, you'll see on the right side of my screen, you'll see gems over there with experience bars. How that works is, as long as you have a gem equipped in your gear, you do not have to use this skill at all in order to get the experience for it. You just get 10% of your experience, I believe it is, converted to the gem. So all gems earn equal, so even if you have 20 gems equipped or 1, they're all gaining experience at the exact same rate. And the reason it gives you the option to level them up is you can make the choice, do I want to level it up and have the mana cost go up, or do I want to just keep it where it's at? Is my mana sustained? You have to weigh these things out. As far as strength and intellect and dexterity is concerned, you have to also decide how you want to build your character. There are 3 main armor stats in the game. There's Energy Shield, which is my personal preference because, like I said, it's like an overshield. They eat it, and then depending on your cooldown rate, you can spec for it also. It will recharge back to full, so you really don't have to deal with health pots a whole lot. That's usually the case in normal. Once you bump up the difficulty, you're going to use health pots regardless. assuming you don't get one shot. Alright, and there is evasion, where there's flat out dodge chance. I believe in decent evasion gear you're going to have somewhere around like 40% chance to dodge, something like that. And you can also spec for a point. One of the specials in the tree is removes all, I believe, energy shield and armor, and gives you a permanent 20% dodge chance. And then if you go 2 points past that, I believe it is, you have a 20% chance to dodge spells as well. So I think overall you could make an evasion-based class. However, I'm not a personal fan of it because getting hit one time is going to make you hate life if it doesn't kill you. As far as vendor items, you will actually use vendor items in this game. Some of them will have really good slot allocations. That is about all I have for you today, so hopefully you enjoyed listening and hung out. Thanks for watching, and until next time, it's Bolg out.